the whole compound had the clay ovens.
Okay.
So this was my life. Every single minute of my waking moments, I saw this. So it was inevitable. I was going to end up like this, whether I liked it or not. So yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to Just Women Africa. My name is Olaleko Amusa, the founder of Just Women Africa. Today we're in one of Ghana's top bakeries in Accra, known by the name of Kimberry, Catering and Bakery. And today we have the CEO with us. Welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Thank you, Daniel, for having me.
All right. Kimberly's going to be talking to us about how she got started, the challenges, what's up for the future. And of course, before I start the show, do not forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe, tell a friend who knows a friend about Just Women Africa. You're welcome to the show again, Kimberly.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. Please, can you tell us about yourself?
I'm a mother and a friend and mother of many. I think I can say that because of my staff. But I have 3 boys and I'm a single mother. So this bakery is really my everything.
Really?
Yeah. I'm actually Ghanaian.
Okay.
And my dad is French, but I grew up in Ghana. I came here when I was 5 years old, and I haven't left. Well, I've traveled a few times, but I've actually grown up here. All my schooling was done in here. And I love to cook and bake, hence Kimberry's Cafe and Bakery. And that's pretty much all I can say about myself, because that's the truth. I'm a mother, a baker, and a cook, and a restaurateur. So basically, that's it.
All right. Okay, that's interesting. So can you tell us exactly how all this got started? When did you actually start baking? Did you go to baking school?
No. Never been to baking
So
school.
how did you learn?
I grew up in a home that baked for business.
So your dad baked or your mother?
No, I grew up with my mother's family. So my grandmother raised me.
Okay.
Because my mother was always out for business, out of the country. And my grandmother was a baker.
Okay.
So she baked bread on a large scale.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up seeing the bakers come, because she had, basically the whole, half of the house was converted into a bakery.
Okay.
So, we had a room where they knead the bread, and shape it into a loaf or whatever shape. And then we had another room for proofing the bread. You know what proofing means, right? To let it rise overnight.
Yeah.
And then the whole compound had the clay ovens.
Okay.
So this was my life. Every single minute of my waking moments, I saw this. So it was inevitable. I was going to end up like this, whether I liked it or not. So yeah, I think it usually turns out 2 ways when you grow up like that. You either tend to hate it because you're around it so much, and maybe you get to eat it so much that you've had enough of it, or it just becomes a part of you. So I became that part, where it's become a part of me.
Okay. Oh wow. What age was that?
So I came to Ghana when I was 5, and my grandma raised me. So since 5 years old.
Do you remember when you made your first cake?
Bread. I started with bread.
Yeah.
Do I remember? I don't remember when I made the first bread, but I remember selling bread.
Okay.
So it was like play. I used to do it as play because the neighborhood kids knew my grandma. Our house was the bakery house. So they'd come to the house, and then we always had a lot of bread, around. And then my grandma would give it away to the neighbors. And when the kids came, my friends came to play with me. They'd have some to take back home and stuff. So I don't know how I started, but maybe it's because I like money a lot. But I started selling it even though I didn't need to. So I had a little table in front of our house because our house was actually the bakery house. So we lived at a part of the house, and the most part was actually the bakery. So I'd come in front of the house, and I had a table with a few loaves of bread, like the different types. We had the tea bread, the sugar bread, the butter bread, and then I had a knife and margarine, like a little tub of margarine and jam.
Okay.
And I had needle, needle,
yeah,
the milk powder.
Okay.
So I sold needle too. So I had a little bakery, tabletop bakery, since I was about 9 years old.
That's interesting.
And I sold it to my friends. So you know how American kids had the lemonade stand?
Plants outside, yes?
I had a bakery stand. So I had a cafe, 360 moment. So I had a needle and a little kettle of water. Well, not little, big kettle of water. But it was safe.
It was safe and you're making money.
It was safe. And then I had cups and it was plain, but I still took money for it.
Okay.
Because it's my middle name.
Okay.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
and then, so that's what I did. I sold it. Every day after school, I had the tabletop with my needle and Milo and tea, my hot water, my little cups and the bread and the butter and the jam. And I sold it.
Oh, that's it.
Adults came to buy it too because they thought it was funny. And they didn't know I was counting my money, my coins.
Okay, what was that in Accra, Kumasi?
Kumasi. I grew up in Kumasi.
You grew up in Kumasi?
Asawasi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was looking to
My
Kumasi
grandma was
also.
quite known. She was called Mami Crime, which translates to mother Ga or grandmother. Because she was Ga.
Okay.
And she moved to Kumasi because her mom moved to Kumasi for business, which was the bakery business. So it's been in the family for a long time.
That's nice. That's interesting.
So my grandma moved there. My great grandmother moved there. Then she had her kids here, but they also moved back to continue the business.
Yeah.
And she was quite known for the bread because she baked big bags of flour every day.
Oh, okay.
You know, the really big flour.
flour.
Yeah. Okay. So she baked maybe, I don't know, off the top of my head, thousands of loaves a day.
Wow.
She had a lot of staff.
Okay.
Some of them lived with us. So we rented like a whole compound.
For the work.
Yeah, for the workers. And then they lived there because, you know, bread making is a whole business. It's not like something you get up and just do. So we started mixing. So whilst you're baking the bread and selling the bread, so what she did was she didn't sell on a small scale. Okay. So the restaurants and the hawkers and
they all came around.
hotels would pick it up in bulk. Okay. So she was like a wholesaler.
Okay.
And then they go sell. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's true.
That's how we did it.
That's how it started.
That's how it started. So it started with bread.
Right. So when did you move on over to cakes?
You know, you start A and B takes care of itself. That's how it happened. So it started with the bread. My grandma only baked one kind of cake, the pound cake, the traditional pound cake. So I learned to make that. And then, of course, you travel or you grow up and then you go to places and you taste other things and you're like, I was always curious. Every time I went somewhere to eat and I tasted something different from what I know or something that I never tasted before, I always wanted to learn to make it. So I ask a lot of questions. And I'm actually a teacher by profession.
Okay, what do you teach?
I teach English as a second language. I teach Spanish and French. So like a language study facilitator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you say I love cake in Spanish?
Me gusta los pasteles.
I was testing her French skills, her Spanish skills.
Spanish skills. J'aime les gâteaux.
What was that?
Yeah, for the French.
For the French. Oh, okay. Right. Okay, that's interesting. All right. So let's talk about Kimberry Cafe and Bakery.
Right.
How long has this establishment been for? Yeah.
We opened in May, last year May, so we've only
2001?
Yeah, 2021.
21, sorry.
Yes. It's okay.
2021, yeah.
So in May will be a year. So so far 10 months. We're only 10 months old.
Wow.
We're still a baby.
Oh, but you're doing so well. Because your name came up during the search.
My name what?
Your name came up during the search when I was looking for...
Nice.
All right. So you've been in business for approximately 10 months?
Kimberry's has been open for 10 months, but I've been baking for at least 10 years.
10 years. Okay, that's interesting.
Professionally.
Professionally.
And as a business. I was doing it from home, and whilst I was teaching, I was doing it as part-time.
Okay.
But then I had to drop all of that because this is my actual love. I prefer this. I still love to teach because I teach how to bake too.
Okay, so you have a class for that?
Every now and then I hold classes. Sometimes at home I do one-on-one.
How many students? Do you in a group or singles?
I've done many. I've done in a group. I've done as many as 20 people at a time. I've done 10 people, 5 people. During COVID, that was mostly what I did.
Okay.
At Thea Cafe.
Okay.
So they have kitchens there. So I rented the kitchen, and then I had, and I'm so lucky. I have quite a following on Instagram. So most of the patronage for my business and the baking class and cooking classes, 99.9% comes from Instagram. You won't believe it.
Okay.
So I don't play with my Instagram. They made me famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So, how long is the course when you get to teach? How long is it for? Is it
So it
2 weeks, 3 weeks, a
depends.
month course?
Sorry?
2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month course?
Oh,
to teach?
usually they're days because I'm a good teacher. It takes about 3 days. So I
3
do
days?
like intensive 3-day courses, and it's very simplified. You know, it's gourmet simplified. So I do maybe a baking class, and it takes 3 days. Sometimes all you need is just 4 hours, because that's usually how long a day's class lasts, 4 hours. And then before you start the class, we send you a lot of information, you know, so you get to read about it, and then we provide a lot of what you need already. You just show up pretty and learn. And then after, we send you videos, and we have a lot of I think I should say we have a good aftercare program for the classes. You get to ask questions one-on-one on WhatsApp. If you're trying and it's not going quite as well, we're there to help.
Okay.
And by we, I mean me and my team.
And your team. Okay. How big is your team?
For now, we're about 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have about 4 bakers and 4 cooks, and then a manager.
Okay.
Yes, and help.
That's really interesting. Okay, guys, you're still watching Just Women Africa. Not forget to hit the subscribe button, give a like, leave a comment too. We're at Kimberry Cafe and Bakery at also here in Accra, Ghana, and we're talking to the CEO,
I
Kim
like that. See,
Coleman.
thank you.
Okay, so tell us, Kim, you've been doing this for the last 10 years, you said so, and can you tell us what has been some of your challenges with with running a baking business?
Small business at that.
Yeah, for the last 10 years, you know. Inflation in terms of prices?
Prices, because when you're running a business like this and you constantly have to increase your price, it frustrates the customer. So that's a challenge.
Okay.
That's only one of the challenges. So, I mean, for me personally, is the inflation, because I don't know about other countries, but in Ghana, prices tend to go up like every week. Even forget about the recent increase in fuel. I think even before that, it was happening. You know,
Really?
but then something like that happens, and they just use it as an excuse. And every time you go to the market, you get chocolate for 20 cedis. The next time is 30. Do you expect me to increase my brownies every single week? So that one hurts. I think that's a real big challenge for small businesses like mine. And then another challenge would be finding the right people.
Staffing?
Staffing, yes. Because in Ghana, I have noticed that people think, for example, what I do looks glamorous on the outside. But then you come and go to the back of the house and you see that it's a lot of stress, you know, it's a lot of bumping into each other and fire and sleepless nights, because this doesn't just show up, you know. Luckily for me, I sell out a lot. I think for the most part, I sell out 99% like every day. So it's bittersweet for me, because that means I got all the money that I needed for the day, but it also means that I'm not going to sleep, because by the time customers walk in here tomorrow morning, they want to see everything on display again, you know. And my staff, my bakers, they come, they have a time that they come to work and a time that they close. I don't. I'm working around the clock. So if a customer wants a birthday cake for pickup in the morning, because it's such a process, and then it has to set, you know, and you have to design it, all that, you're going to have to not sleep through the night, you know. And this is where the challenge comes in, because I'm doing it as a labor of love. I love what I do, you know. And sometimes it's not quite as rewarding, but you know what, maybe that's not the case. It's rewarding regardless, but I'm human, and it gets tiring, you know, it gets exhausted. So it's hard to find someone who shares the same kind of passion and wants to stay up with you. And I don't even mean that in the literal sense. Like they care as much because this is not a one-man's job.
Definitely.
If you look at my menu, you see that I have so many items on the menu. A little too much for the size of my cafe. You know, we're small in size, but we're big on flavor. It's quaint. Yeah, so it's not really a challenge. It only becomes a challenge because I have to do it by myself. But I'm still on the hunt for someone another Kim, someone who's as passionate as I am. Because most people just come for the money. So that's another of the challenge. I don't always find the right people. Now I'm lucky enough to have a few of them that will do what they need to do, so they get it right. But it still all comes down to me. Yeah. So it's the inflation, the constant increase in prices, and then the staffing, and then I think that's about it. Everything else is yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask you a question because you mentioned inflation and that you go to the market today and tomorrow the prices have gone up.
Right.
How are you able to cope?
I don't know.
Because
I think it's magic. Everybody in Africa is winging it. I know I am. No, seriously, I don't know how I do it. So what works for me is that I think I'm confident enough to say that my stuff are quite good, so they sell fast.
Okay.
You understand? So because they go a lot, I still make my money. I mean, it could be better, but I think I'm better off than most people.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a lot of loyal customers who appreciate what I do. So I sell out a lot. So that's what helps me. So imagine if it was just random sales with the price increase, that would have killed me. But it still affects us, but it's not as bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you said what time do you close?
We open at 8 a.m., close at 8 p.m.
Okay. So what happens to items you're not able to sell? Do you throw them away or? No,
not necessarily. My cakes don't last more than 3 days.
Okay.
So hopefully, when we don't sell today, by the next day it sells out.
Okay.
Yeah. But on very rare occasions that they go beyond 3 days, I trash them. Or sometimes the staff would want them.
Okay.
I give it to them. Yeah.
Give it to them.
But I don't sell anything that's not fresh.
Okay. So in terms of staffing, how are you able to cope with it? I mean, okay, right now probably have the right staff, but before
them a lot. I've only been open for 10 months and I've changed so many. I'm not afraid to let you go.
So what are kind of the issues you have with staff when they come out?
Punctuality.
Okay.
I think it's a Ghanaian thing. Do you know why? This might upset some people, but I think it's because we're very complacent in Ghana. Okay. And it's not our fault necessarily. I lived in America for just a short while. Because of the winter and the fact that you don't really have any family to fall back on back there, the same staff that's not going to do very well here will excel in America. You know why? Because he or she knows that if she doesn't show up to work on time and do what she's supposed to do, she'll probably be laid off or fired, right? Who is she going to go to? She doesn't have a mom that she's going to stay in her house. Even if you stay with your mom in America or in the West, you're going to pay rent. That's not home to anybody. So your mom there is still paying rent. You'll be living with your mom and sharing the rent with your mom. You understand? So you will go. Whether it's painful or not, you will go to work, you will show up, you do what you have to do. You will complain, but you will do it. Because wintertime is if you don't do that, you'll be homeless. Over here, if he or she feels that she doesn't like the job or it's too hard for her, she's gonna quit. Because she can go home and she doesn't have to pay rent. You understand? She'll still eat because mommy will make fufu or banku and she'll eat regardless. So it has its good sides. Do you understand? It has the good side of that, the situation being like that. But I think that's what mainly, the problem is. That's what is the problem, yeah. Because back in, I always say, if a person doesn't do so well here, they'll probably do better there because they know that I can't afford to be homeless. I can't afford to not pay rent. I'll sleep in the winter out in the cold. You understand? But here we have summer all year long. She can go and stay with grandma or uncle or auntie. She'll still eat banku. Even if she can't buy the extra things that she wants, whatever she needs, shelter and food is taken care of.
Yeah.
So when they come and then you correct them once or twice and they're not happy about it, they either quit or they quit.
Okay.
But mostly I do the firing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I can't afford, not pleasing my customers.
That's important.
Yeah. It's literally my daily bread. So I don't joke with it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's talk about, whilst we were talking, you did mention it, so I was going to ask you, but let's talk about COVID.
Right. I opened my business during COVID.
Okay. What has been the impact on COVID been on your business? Did you lose clients? Did you make more clients? Did you make more money? Did you lose money?
I was scared and very hesitant to open this during COVID, but I think it was the perfect time for me. Like I said, when most of my cooking and baking classes were held during COVID because people had time on their hands. I mean, other people didn't feel safe enough to come out, but those who didn't mind came out.
Okay.
So I got a lot of patronage for the cooking classes because they had time. People had wanted to learn how to bake or cook, but because of work they couldn't. And during COVID, they had the time. They were bored. They wanted to come out.
Okay.
And it was safer to come for a cooking class than to go to sit somewhere, like to a restaurant or a club or anywhere else. It was safer. We were maxed up. We observed all the protocols and everything.
Okay.
But that helped me. My cooking classes took off. Both the online and on hands. It did really well.
It did really well. So whilst people were locked up for 3 weeks, you were teaching.
Did you say 3 weeks?
Yeah, well,
we were locked up for long.
No, in Accra.
Accra it was
just 3 weeks.
It felt like 3 years. No, it wasn't just 3 weeks. Wasn't there a lockdown and then another one?
I can't recall.
Yeah, I think it was more. Probably like 8 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So basically, COVID has been good for you.
Yes, so like I was saying, for the cooking classes, I did very well. They took off. And then I opened, so right after the lockdown was lifted, I started working on this one. And I think what helped me was because I had such an online presence already, and people had been ordering from me, but only in bulk because I wouldn't make maybe a brownie for one. So when I opened this, it gave people the opportunity to try my stuff, but at the same time variety. You don't have to buy just a full cheesecake. You can get a cheesecake, a brownie, a donut, tres leches, lemon drizzle, scones. I think my followers on Instagram, honestly, I owe everything to them. They really came through for me and still come through for me. So so I think when I opened, it was like a breath of fresh air. It didn't really affect me, I have to say. And it also gave me the courage because I was so bored during COVID, like most people were, that it got me thinking. And then for some reason I got the courage. I said, let me do it. And I always wanted to do this, but I had bigger dreams. I wanted to do it big, but I don't know what happened. One day I woke up and I said, no, I'm going to do it small. I'll start small, then I can grow from. And I'm glad I did, because the challenges that you asked me about, there are so many more.
Okay.
I just can't really think off the top of my head. You should have told me. I would have written them down because it's a long list. I'm sure most people can relate. Most small business owners can relate. But I'm glad I started small because I'm learning every day.
Okay. I'm
not really a business person, although I like money. All I know is that I want to send the best product out there.
Okay.
And I think that's enough for someone like me, because once you send out the best, people keep coming back. 90% of my customers are returning customers.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, like every business, you get complaints, and it hurts. For me, it hurts when I get the complaints because this is me. You know, the place is called Kimberry, so it's my name. Although my name is Kimberly. I was just playing on the word, because berries, strawberries, blueberries, and that's kind of what you see when you come here. And what was I saying? I know, I'm silly. So I'm glad I started small because I'm learning through it every single day. If I had started big, it would have been too much for me. So by the time I grow, which I'm going to, by the time I grow, I would have learned. I mean, you still learn every day, but I would have learned most of what I need to know, and then it'd be easier.
It's really
So this was good.
okay. All right. Okay, guys, you're still watching Just for Women Africa. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the button, tell a friend who knows a friend about Just for Women Africa. And today we're talking to Kimberly Coleman, CEO of Kimberry.
Not anything. Justin, can we have ginger honey tea?
Yeah. Okay, I have to edit that part.
It's okay.
Okay, guys, you're still watching Just for Women Africa. Don't forget hit subscribe button, tell a friend who knows a friend about Just for Women Africa. And today we're talking to Kimberly of
Most people call me Kimberry anyway.
Kimberry. We're talking to Kim
Of Kimberry.
of Kimberry Bakery here in Accra on the Zoo. The name is so confusing. Kimberly. You're wondering which is which.
I don't mind. Call me Kimberry. I've made it easy for everybody. You know why?
Yeah.
Because you know what they say about the Ashantis?
What they say?
They turn the L to R. So if you say if you're trying to say Kimberry and you say Kimberly, it's still not wrong. It's me.
Okay. So you've been doing business for the last 10 years. Can you tell us what is about? What's your opinion or perception about doing business in Ghana?
I don't know much about business. I'm learning. I'm still learning. So,
as a woman?
As a woman?
Yeah.
But I can't speak for a man because I'm not a man.
Definitely not.
Right. So as a woman, well, personally as a mother, it's challenging because I have to divide myself into three. I say three because I have to be a mother, then I have to be the director of Kimberry's, then I have to be that person on Instagram that people would want to come to. So I have to divide myself into these three people. So I'm constantly here. I have to engage my people on Instagram, you know, because they are the same people that end up coming in here. And then, for example, I'm called from my son's school and I have to show up. And maybe a customer needs something done because somebody else that I left it with is not able to do it right. Or sometimes the customers actually prefer me. I have customers who come here and say, Kim, if you don't make it, I don't want it.
Oh, wow.
And it's not a problem for me. I'm happy to do it. But, you know, it becomes a challenge when I can't be here because I'm a mother. I have to be there for my... Honestly, since I opened this, I feel bad. But I think every mother can relate. I'm not quite available for them. I try to be. When I get home, I drop everything. I mean, I may have a cake in the oven, but I'll still be a mother at the same time, doing homework with them, playing with them. So that can be challenging because they complain. They say, Mommy, you don't have time for me. You only care about your customers. Because sometimes I snap at them when I get a phone call for an order and they shout, I'm like, be quiet, I'm on the phone with the customer. And they're like, your customer is more important than me. So yeah, probably that's the only.
So that will bring me to my next question. How are you able to balance being a CEO with family life? How are you able to balance it to make sure that there's that balance? I know you just spoke about the challenges, but I'm sure when you go to bed at night, I'm sure you think about it. So how do you think you're able to balance it?
How am I able to balance it? I'm winging it. I haven't really thought about it, but I do my best. I really do my best. I try to be there for the family when I can, and I try to be here for my customers and the business because, you know, they work together. Without the business, I won't be the best for my, I won't be able to afford certain things for the family. I won't be fulfilled, so I'm not going to be complete or whole for my kids. In a way, I think this is good for my kids, being a single mother. They see it, you know, and hopefully they're going to learn from it, and know that, you know what, nobody's going to do it for you. And even if you're lucky enough to have somebody to do it for you, you should still do it for yourself, you know. I want them to grow up knowing that, you know what, my mother did it for herself, she followed her passion and she made it, you know. And so I'm going to do the same, you know. I'm going to fight for what I love. And if it's and if this is it and you can make some money off of it as well. Money is good, but I think that the fulfillment I get from this is more important to me. I'd rather refund money to a customer or replace a customer's order and lose a little bit of the profit than just take the money and leave the customer not satisfied.
Okay.
So for the most part, I try to do that.
Okay.
And this brings me a lot of joy. I don't know, maybe it's nostalgia from growing up with my grandmother and seeing all of this. And it's not just that. I saw my grandma put all her children in school. You know, she did amazing things from the business, from using her hands. And I wasn't thinking about it like that as a child, but I guess it was always there. So I'm glad I grew up like this. I'm glad. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. Okay. That brings us to my next question. Over the last 10 years, I'm sure this is going to be quite a difficult one for you to. Thank you. I get my tea.
Yay.
Thank you.
One extra honey?
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Extra ginger?
Let me taste this one first.
We aim to please.
Okay. Do you recall, definitely not all customers will be happy. What has been one of your most difficult clients you've ever met, and how did you handle it?
Do you want me to cite examples?
Yeah, I love so many. People would love to hear.
I mean, you know, I have come to develop a thick skin. And by that, I don't mean that I don't care anymore. I definitely do care. But I realize that I can't please everyone.
Okay.
So I'm happy that at the end of the day, 90% of my customers are happy. And like I said before, they return. They are returning customers. I don't really want to say the examples, but I have...
Just one?
Just one? Okay, let me think. Can I say that I've never had complaints? I'd be lying. Okay, so for example, I have lamb chops on the menu. And it's one of my best sellers because I think for the space, for a small cafe like this, I don't think there's any restaurant or cafe as small that serve the quality of foods that I have.
Okay.
Usually they cut their coats according to the size, but I am too known, so I don't do that.
Okay.
I do beyond, you know, and so I try to give people the gourmet experience, you know, regardless of who you are or where you're from. You don't have to go and sit. This is casual. It's not a fancy restaurant, you know, but we have fancy items on the menu and we make you feel fancy. Your taste buds explode and stuff like that. So I always say we are small inside but big on flavor. So back to the lamb chops. I had a customer that called to say that her lamb chops had blood in it. It wasn't blood. It was just a little underdone, like lamb chops should be, right? So what we do is when you call to order for lamb chops, you have to specify if you want it medium well, or well done, right?
Okay.
But she didn't specify, so we assumed maybe we shouldn't have that she wanted it medium well because that's how we like to enjoy it. So she called to say that it was undercooked. So I tried to explain to her that, in the future, can you state that you want it well done, because some people don't like it well done, but because she didn't specify, we assumed, and forgive us, we shouldn't have assumed. And she went off. She said, you know what, you don't know how to cook. I shouldn't have to see any red inside. It should be totally cooked and brown. So I was like, oh, well, don't worry about it. Next time, just let me know. Or I even offered to give her a replacement, but she said no. She was very disappointed because she had ordered previously and she got it well done, even though she didn't specify. So she was expecting the same. And she went off for 30 minutes on the phone, telling me that I didn't know how to cook and that I should watch out because I'm going to not succeed in this business because I'm all hype. Yeah, so that's just one of them. And I just kept apologizing and going on, but she wouldn't stop, and she talked about how frustrated she was and she couldn't eat the food. So yeah, and she said to me that she was going to come and teach me how to make lamb. So yes, so you have people like that, but you live and learn.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so we're about to run up the interview.
Okay.
I just have a few more questions for you.
So soon? I'm enjoying myself.
All right. Can you tell us what's the future for Kimberry Cafe and Bakery?
Household name.
Okay.
So by that I mean we're going to have branches in every region.
Okay.
And not just one in every region, like several. So think Starbucks.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I envision for Kimberly's. And I mean, now that the world is so small, you know, when I say nationwide, I also mean international.
Okay.
So Kimberly's is going to be on everyone's lips, just like Starbucks or McDonald's or the other similar franchises. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So our viewers out there watching, why should they come to you to buy cake and not your competitor?
Because they're the best cakes. I'm kidding. I use the most quality ingredients. I don't cut corners. So when you taste my cakes or my food, you taste the difference. It doesn't matter what you think you've had out there. When you taste mine, you can taste the love and the quality.
Okay.
So I can assure you that. Because if there's anything out there that I would not like to eat, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Because I always say, because my name is on it, I'd rather put something out there that even if I don't sell, I can take it home and enjoy it myself, because I make it like I'm making it at home for my family.
Yeah.
So when you taste my cakes, you taste homemade, you taste quality. I don't cut corners, and it's a good thing that I'm small, because I can afford to do that. But even when I get bigger, I hope and I pray to maintain the quality and the standard. So if you order cakes from Kimberly's, you will taste the difference, the quality, the love that goes into it. You see how small this place is? Everyone, you realize when you came earlier, everyone that entered had a conversation with me. It's very intimate. So it's like you coming into an extension of your living room. I'll sit down, have a chat with you. And you know what? I like feedback. I mean, I can't please everybody, but I like feedback. So I weigh it, you know. If the brownie is a little too sweet for you or not chocolatey enough, I note that down and I improve. I'm always experimenting and always introducing new items on my menu. So when you come to Kimberly's, it's like you're going to, I don't know, grandma's house, because I'm a grandma inside. A grandma raised me, so I'm a grandma.
Okay. This brings me to my final question. I ask this question to everybody come to the show. It's not, it doesn't have to include bakery or anything.
Right.
Women in Africa complain that it's difficult. They feel it's a man's world, and that men take advantage of them sexually to get favors or to get onto the a job.
It's everywhere, not just Africa.
Yeah, but you know, but women like you have been able to make it. You're doing something for yourself. What advice can you give to African women out there who feel that it's hard for them, they can't get to the next step because they feel it's a man's world, is standing block in front of them? What advice can you give to them?
I don't know it all. I just take it one day at a time, and I try to accomplish something every day. So I don't take on things, or how do I put it? I don't bite off more than I can chew unless it's chocolate. Don't bite off more than you can chew unless it's chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm silly. Yeah, so I take it one day at a time. I try to accomplish something every day, no matter how small it is. And I think that discipline just sort of guides you. Because I can't really say, everybody's situation is different. As for men taking advantage of women, yes, it's there. Luckily for me, I've not had to experience that. Maybe it's because it depends on the field you're in. With the food, everybody's got to eat, right? So that makes it easier for me. It doesn't mean that cooking is easy, because cooking, especially when you start it off as a passion, the passion can easily die, because it's really tough. You have to deal with a lot of things outside the product, like how to deal with the wastage, you know, leftovers, spoilage and stuff like that, you know. So you can easily lose the passion but breathe. I always say that's what works for me. Sometimes when I feel like I'm at the edge of it, I take a step back and I breathe and I start all over again. So I don't know about other people, but I think this pertains to everything in life. Just one day at a time.
Yeah.
One day. Don't think about the external factors. You know, the men taking advantage is a man's world. I'm not looking at those things. I think when you focus on them, they get to you, and then you see them. Because like everything else, if you focus on anything, that's what you see, the more of that.
Yeah.
So I just focus on, doing my best every day.
Okay.
I do what I can. And it gets hard. Sometimes when it gets hard, I pause, I stop. And I'm not looking at the challenges outside because there are so many.
Okay.
There are so many of them and they will deter you. So just take it one day at a time. And I always also say, do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. I'm not going to specify because I don't know what people have to do. But do what you have to do as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. Sometimes, even if it means that I'm going to lose money and not make a dime off the product, but then I'm going to make the customer happy, I will do it. Yeah. Because I know that customer will be happy enough to recommend me to others and come back. And hopefully the next time I can make something off of it. So that's one of the reasons I mean when I say do what you have to do. Okay. So I do what I have to do at that moment in time. I don't always make profit, but sometimes I do. So it's just like, do what you have to do, whatever works for you at that time. If it means taking a break from what you're doing and focusing on other things like pampering yourself, do what you have to do. But don't focus. I think that would be my answer. Don't focus on the external factors because wahala no they finish, right? They will always be there. Whether you're in Africa or America or Asia, it will be there. So don't focus, just tunnel vision. Is that what they say? Just focus on what you're doing. And once you're able to tackle A, B will take care of itself, and C and D and so forth. Because nobody has all the answers. I know that I certainly don't. So I'm winging it and taking it one day at a time. I make a lot of mistakes and I try to learn from it. So that's basically what I do. Okay. One day at a time.
Okay, when you heard it from Kim herself, take it one day at a time.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Once you start at A, B will take care of itself. C will take care of itself.
Nobody's got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Even if you had the money to, back you and, I don't know, what's the word? I'm not drinking enough coffee, so the English is not coming.
Okay, so that's a roundup. For viewers out there who are watching, who want to get in touch with you, want to taste your lovely cakes, come down to your cafe, make orders, can give out your contact details?
Sure. Should I just say it?
Yes.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at gourmetkim, GOURMETKIM. That's for the personal blogger state. Can I take that again? So you can find me on Instagram at gourmetkim, GOURMETKIM. That's for my personal blogging platform. Okay. And then I have for the Kimberry's Cafe and Bakery, Kimberry's Cafe and Bakery. And then you can find the menu, and you can contact us through DM. Our phone numbers are 024-150-2882 on WhatsApp and calls. Okay. And email address is kimberryscafeandbakery@gmail.com.
Yeah. Okay, but do not forget to add the country code, which is +233.
+233-241-502-882.
Okay. Alright guys, thank you for watching Just Women Africa, and we'd like to thank Kim for coming on to the show, for taking us through Kimberry's Cafe and Bakery.
Why do we have to end so soon? Can I talk more?
On the next show.
Yeah, on the next show. Catch us again.
Okay guys, leave your comments, subscribe, and of course we also love feedback, so tell us what you feel below in the comments, and tell us what your feedback is. I'll be leaving Kim's details in the comments below. Of course, at the end of the show, of course I'm sure right now you can see her details below, but you can still check it out in the comments. And to the next show.
She's walking. I'm happy to have you. I'll sit with you. I'll have a conversation with you. We'll have tea together. It's a very intimate vibe, good vibes that we've got going on here. And like I said, we're small, but we're big on flavor. Guaranteed.
Yeah, if you put Kimberry into Google's Google Maps,
yes, you'll find us on Okodan Road.
Yeah.
We're in between Yaniba and Osu.
Okay.
So it's like Asia and your Turkey.
Okay, Kim, thank you for
Daniel. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah? Good.
Okay, guys, to the next show with I am Kim. It is.
And I get high on my own supply.
And she's taking a lot of chocolate cake.
Chocolate doesn't judge. Bye.
Oh, that was lovely. I love that.